I actually started my entrepreneurial career right out of college. I worked for a kind of startup hospital services staffing company. And on my first job, first day, my boss put me in a room with a computer and a window and a credenza and a phone and said, make money or you're out of here. So that was my first day of work when I graduated. So my first job was really pretty entrepreneurial, working for a staffing company. And I started a therapy division for their business and used the commissions from that to pay for graduate school. So I went and got a master's in PT and always still had this entrepreneurial bent to me. I worked at Children's Hospital for 6-7 years and got all my bona fide credentials as a pediatric specialist, and then left and started a private practice where I met my business partner, Diana Fonheiser. And she and I basically put our heads together around school-based staffing and how to support kids in public school systems, and applied a new model, including what ended up being a very valuable proprietary software technology that we use to monitor the business. So it really grew out of a priority for helping kids, putting kids first. And interestingly, the business kind of grew from that place of having our hearts right. And that was a big lesson for me starting out. So I began the company in 1998 with her. We grew it to over 700 people. It was called Pediatric Therapeutic Services. We sold to a public company, Kelly Education Services, in 2022. And I've since been retired, but doing a lot of missions work, both in the country, in the US and internationally. Well, certainly being a female entrepreneur and a mother of two and a wife, the finding life work balance was really challenging. And so I think that was one of the biggest things I had to overcome, because I didn't want to fail at any of those things. They were all too important. And I know from interacting with a lot of entrepreneurs who were senior to me that relationships with their children were often strained because they didn't have time. And so I had to learn very early on to delegate not just business tasks, but I had to delegate home tasks. So we kind of skimped on the vacation side of things, and I bought back a lot of time with help around the house and with prioritizing quality time versus driving kids around. So I would pay someone to drive my kids to their activities. And that was my concept of time and where the line was between work and personal, and delegation at home and delegation at work was a big part of growing my business, frankly, because I had energy to put into it, but also making sure that my kids grew up in a home where they felt loved and secure, and I was able to be there. And as a matter of fact, I never had an office in my corporate office. I always had my primary base out of my home, which sounds wonderful because it's so flexible, but you also find that you're working from 6 till 10 at night because everything's at home and your home office is there. So finding quiet time and separating work from family with a home office was another big challenge I had to overcome. But it worked out. Kids turned out great, and we were able to grow the business. And my business partner and I were both believers, so that was a big help as well. And both had the same philosophy about prioritizing our families while still growing the business and being hard driving entrepreneurs. Especially as a Christian, we tend to draw lines between work and serving God and ministry and family, and we tend to silo our lives in a lot of ways. And one of the books that really helped influence my approach to my life and my work was Brother Lawrence's Practicing the Presence of God. He was a Catholic monk, and he talked about just connecting with God while he was doing the dishes, connecting with God while he was writing, just finding ways to stay connected to the Lord all the time, and not to look at secular tasks any different from ministry tasks. And when I approached my business that way and looked at my business as another way that I could serve the Lord, it stopped being so draining, and it started becoming more of a calling. And it gave me a lot of energy, and it also changed the way I approached problems, because any entrepreneur is going to be a doer, performer, problem solver. But by kind of blurring those lines between ministry and work, we brought everything to God. And anyone who has a business partner knows you don't always agree, but she and I would literally go away when we disagreed about something, go away, pray about it, come back the next day and talk. And it was amazing how that brought us together, just like it works in a marriage. So my advice would be to not think of your business as something that isn't God's problem. Like, bring your questions, ask for wisdom from the Holy Spirit, and make the Lord your business partner, really, because there is no line between any of it. You have to also prioritize yourself and make time. So don't be in a position where you don't enjoy your life and your time and your family. And it's really easy to let running a business take over your consciousness basically 23 hours a day. And I think that entrepreneurialism really should be an opportunity to help change the world for the better, but also to be able to have the flexibility. And you deserve time off. You deserve time to rest. Sometimes I would solve my biggest business problems taking my dog for a walk in the state park in the backwoods, where I got rid of all the noise so that I could hear him better and just think through something in peace. So rest and quiet are as essential as putting your nose to the grindstone. As you're starting your business, make sure you really are not doing anything that's cookie cutter that everybody else has done. Like, really try to have a unique and innovative approach, a value proposition that's not out there, that no one else has. Because I think a lot of people start businesses and they just kind of follow in the footsteps of their competitors. And I think if you really want to have a breakthrough business where at some point you are able to have a successful exit financially, that innovation and something that really sets you apart from the herd is important. And once again, getting to that place of innovation takes investment and time and energy. And most entrepreneurs start their companies because we are excited about an idea. And you need to dedicate time to just being the creative entrepreneur that you are, and try and delegate a lot of the day-to-day gut work so that you make space for that creativity, because it was a game changer for us.